Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. In this video, we kick off an unforgettable adventure as we cross the border from Thailand into Laos, navigating the checkpoint and stepping into a whole new country. From there, we head down to the river dock to board our houseboat, our floating home for the next 2 days, as we cruise upstream along the legendary Mekong River. Along the way, breathtaking scenery, remote villages, and incredible sights unfold around every bend, turning the journey itself into the highlight of the trip. After a long day cruising up the Mekong, we finally pull into the riverside town of Pakbeng for our overnight stop. As the sun dips behind the hills, we wander into the local market, where stalls glow under warm lights and vendors proudly display their regional specialties. From exotic snacks to fresh produce and surprising delicacies, it's a lively, flavorful glimpse into everyday Lao life that adds a whole new layer to the journey. As the first light spills across the rooftops, we climb aboard our bus and roll out through the waking streets heading toward the border. In just a short drive, the road delivers us to the edge of Thailand, right beside the iconic Friendship Bridge, the gateway that leads us across the Mekong and into Laos, where the next chapter of our adventure awaits. As we pull up to the Thai border crossing, we move through passport control, getting officially cleared to leave Thailand behind. Ahead of us, the Friendship Bridge stretches across the Mekong, a reminder that our next stop lies on the far side, where Laos awaits with its own passport and visa checks. Lined up nearby are the shuttle buses that ferry travelers from the Thai side across the bridge to the Laotian border station, the final gateway before our journey continues deeper into Laos. Our group takes a moment to settle in and offer a warm farewell to Thailand, savoring the last glimpse of the Thai side of the border. Then, with passports in hand and excitement building, we prepare for the short ride across the stretch of no man's land that leads to the Laotian checkpoint, our gateway into a brand new adventure. Stretching across the Mekong River, the first Thai-Lao Friendship Bridge stands as far more than a physical crossing. It's a symbol of cooperation, diplomacy, and shared history between Thailand, Laos, and Australia. Opened in 1994, this 1.17-kilometer span became the first major bridge across the lower Mekong, linking Nong Khai, Thailand, with Vientiane Prefecture, Laos, just 20 kilometers from the Lao capital. Since its opening, the Friendship Bridge has transformed regional travel and commerce. It carries motor vehicles and even a railway line, connecting Thailand's rail network to Laos at Tanah Lang Station. Millions of travelers cross it each year, making it a vital artery for tourism, logistics, and people-to-people connection. We roll onto the Laotian side of the border and step off the bus, where we're greeted by our local guide, our companion for the entire journey through Laos, as required by the government. After clearing passport control, we hop into a waiting tuk-tuk and rattle our way toward the riverside dock, ready to board our boat for a 2-day voyage along the legendary Mekong River. We rumble through a sparsely populated town, still wrapped in the hush of early morning. Across the Mekong, just beyond the slow-moving water, you can see Thailand, our home for the past week. A few minutes later, the road opens to the riverside, where our dock comes into view, waiting quietly for us to step aboard and begin our journey downriver. Damrong had already arranged for porters to meet us, ready to shoulder our suitcases and larger bags as we made our way carefully down the slippery, sandy slope toward our waiting boat. I had to move with extra caution on the loose, sandy ground. My right knee had begun acting up, making both walking and climbing a bit more challenging than usual. I also gave Carolyn a hand along the way, as her bad knee was making the descent challenging for her as well. After climbing aboard, we stashed our bags and quickly settled in, each of us scouting out the perfect spot to take in the river views. With the entire boat reserved exclusively for our group, it felt spacious and relaxed, almost like having our own floating lounge. We wandered the deck for a bit, getting familiar with the layout, soaking in the atmosphere, and locating the all-important restroom before our Mekong adventure officially got underway. Once we were underway and the river began to unfurl around us, our Laotian guide gathered everyone together and launched into a lively introduction to his country, its sweeping history, its diverse cultures, and the rugged geography that shapes life along the Mekong. His stories turned the passing landscape into something richer, each bend in the river suddenly carrying a deeper meaning.
From Pakbeng to the capital city, so there is another guide to pick up them because we give each other jobs. Yeah, so the guy from that area.
We leaned back and let the river carry us forward, watching statues, shrines, and temples drift past like scenes from a moving tapestry, most of them rising proudly along the Thai side of the Mekong as we cruised by. The Mekong isn't just a river, it's a force of nature, a living artery that pulses through the heart of Southeast Asia. Rising high on the windswept Tibetan plateau, it begins its journey as a wild mountain torrent before carving a 4,350-kilometer path through 6 countries: China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Few rivers on Earth cross so many borders or shape so many cultures. As it surges southward, the Mekong transforms again and again, rushing through deep gorges in Yunnan, gliding past golden temples in Laos, tracing the border between Thailand and Laos, and feeding the floating villages of Cambodia's Tonle Sap. By the time it reaches Vietnam, it fans out into the vast Mekong Delta, a maze of waterways that feeds millions and grows nearly half the country's rice. As we glide along the Mekong, it quickly becomes clear that the river is running unusually low. Jagged rocks jut out from the shallows like ancient sentinels, their sharp edges exposed and glinting in the sun, silent reminders of the river's hidden dangers. Beneath the surface, half-submerged boulders stir the water into swirling eddies and unpredictable currents, creating strange hypnotic patterns on the surface that ripple across our path. Navigating this watery maze takes real skill, and our seasoned boat captain is up to the challenge. With practiced eyes and steady hands, he reads the river like a map, steering us clear of the submerged hazards that could easily snag a less experienced crew. Every twist and turn feels like a dance with the Mekong itself, wild, beautiful, and just a little bit treacherous. As we cruised downstream, sleek jet boats kept darting past us in both directions, slicing through the water like arrows. Their passengers were in for a thrill ride. These shallow-bottomed rockets barely touch the surface, skimming over hidden rocks and swirling currents without a second thought. While we navigated the Mekong's twists and hazards with care, those boats simply opened the throttle and flew. We eventually reached a dramatic turning point in the river's journey. This sign marks where the Mekong finally swings fully into Laos and leaves the Thai border behind. It's subtle at first, just a shift in the landscape, but then it hits you. The opposite bank is no longer Thailand at all. From here on, the Mekong belongs entirely to Laos, carving its way through remote villages, forested cliffs, and untouched countryside. The river kept showing its wild side. Around half-hidden rocks, the Mekong twisted itself into swirling eddy currents, churning the surface into unpredictable spirals. In some spots, the water even spilled over the tops of submerged boulders, forming tiny rushing waterfalls that hinted at the power just beneath us. Every ripple felt like a reminder that this river, beautiful as it is, demands respect. After several hours gliding through the heart of Laos, our boat approached a mandatory maritime checkpoint, a crucial stop for all vessels navigating the Mekong. As we drew closer, another tourist boat burst into motion, peeling away from the shoreline and gliding back into the Mekong's current. Its engines rumbled to life, sending it sweeping downriver as it continued its journey ahead of us. Our captain eased the boat toward the bank with practiced precision, while his wife sprang into action at the bow, using a long bamboo pole to push, pull, and coax us onto the sandy shore. Once we were firmly grounded, she hopped off and headed up the slope, paperwork in hand, making her way toward the inspection hut that overlooked the river. While she handled the paperwork up at the inspection hut, a few local vendors climbed aboard, offering snacks with hopeful smiles and gentle persuasion. Knowing how hard they work to earn even a small income, we were glad to support them, buying a few treats and slipping them more money than they asked as a small gesture of appreciation for their effort and resilience. Once the paperwork was stamped and cleared, the captain's wife hopped back aboard and slipped right into her role as co-pilot. With the same effortless skill she'd shown earlier, she worked alongside her husband to push us off the sandbar and steer the bow toward deeper water. A few smooth maneuvers later, the current caught hold and we were gliding back into the Mekong's flow, our journey continuing downstream. A sleek jet boat came roaring in, skimming across the surface before cutting power and gliding toward the dock for a quick refuel. It paused only for a moment, just long enough to top up, before blasting off again, carving a white wake as it sped toward its next destination along the Mekong. As more jagged rocks came into view along with swirling surface currents, they kept us glued to the river ahead, constantly wondering how our captain would thread us through the chaos. Every twist of the water made us second guess the safe route, but he read the river like a map, guiding us through hazards that seemed impossible from where we sat. After all that adrenaline, we finally let ourselves sink back into our seats and just take it all in. The landscape kept reinventing itself as we drifted along. One moment we were gliding past pale, sandy banks, the next we were skimming alongside wide-open fields, and soon after, the horizon rose into layers of deep green forested mountains. The Mekong never showed the same face twice, and that constant transformation was mesmerizing. Small clusters of people dotted the riverbank, each group working with quiet determination as they searched for gold in the Mekong's restless waters. From a distance, you could see the sputter of their water pumps kicking to life, sending powerful streams uphill through long rubber hoses. The water spilled into makeshift sluice gates and wooden sifters, where gravel and sand tumbled in a steady rush. They watched the flow with practiced eyes, shaking the frames, adjusting the angle, coaxing the river to reveal whatever tiny flecks of gold it might surrender. It was gritty, back-breaking work. Sun beating down, engines humming, mud splashing, but there was a rhythm to it, almost hypnotic. As we drifted past, the scene felt like a glimpse into a timeless ritual, humble, hopeful, and deeply connected to the Mekong itself. As we near our overnight stop in Pakbeng, the river carries us beneath the Pak Kon Ta Dua Bridge, a graceful span linking two remote river communities. Completed in the early 2000s, this modest but vital crossing transformed local life, turning once isolated villages into connected hubs for trade, travel, and daily exchange. In the distance, the mountains reveal long, sloping scars, reminders of past landslides. It's a striking sight, as if the earth itself is shifting beneath its own skin. As we draw closer to Pakbeng, the riverbank begins to shift. Sleek new resorts rise above the waterline, their fresh timber and bright lights signaling the town's growing energy. Just past them, further along the river, older riverside hotels stand with a quiet, time-worn charm, still greeting weary travelers the way they have for decades. Together, they paint a vivid picture of a town balancing its past and its future right at the edge of the Mekong. Approaching the Pakbeng dock, the river suddenly feels busier, alive with boats resting for the night. Our captain threads us through the cluster with calm precision, easing the bow toward the shoreline and sliding us neatly into a narrow gap between the anchored vessels. It's a smooth, confident maneuver that makes the whole arrival feel like part of the adventure. Once again, the captain's wife steps forward at the bow, her movements calm and assured. Each precise push and pull shows a lifetime spent reading the river's moods, her practiced rhythm coaxing the boat toward shore with such control and precision. We finally arrive at the sandy shore, stepping off the boat and picking our way carefully across the slick, shifting slope. Ahead, the solid concrete steps rise like a welcome anchor, guiding us up toward the parking area. As we arrived, porters were ready to offload our bags onto the waiting tuk-tuk, which would carry us to our hotel. Pakbeng sits tucked into the bends of the Mekong, a small Laotian town that has long served as the river's natural halfway house between Huay Xai and Luang Prabang. What began as a humble trading stop for boatmen and hill tribe merchants has grown into a lively crossroads where modern guest houses mingle with traditional stilt homes. As the sun drops behind the mountains, the town comes alive with sizzling street food, warm smiles, and the easy rhythm of river life. Pakbeng may be small, but it feels like a gateway where travelers pause, recharge, and catch their breath before the Mekong carries them deeper into Laos. As evening settled over Pakbeng, our guide Kid led us on a stroll through town, steering us toward the open-air market where the local delicacies awaited. Though I'm using that word delicacies very loosely. We wandered past roadside homes woven between small family businesses that have stood here for generations, each one adding its own layer of character to the town's well-worn charm. We arrive at the market, which was starting to pack up and close as it late in the day. Some stalls still buzzed with life, aromas both inviting and adventurous, drifting through the warm night air, giving us a true taste of the town's character. This stall was proudly displaying dried fish and dried buffalo ears, an eye-catching spread made even more dramatic by several large flies buzzing above it. It was one of those market moments that hits you all at once. The sights, the smells, and the unmistakable sense that you've stepped straight into the heart of a third-world country. This stand was piled high with all kinds of seafood, though we couldn't help wondering just how long some of it had been sitting out and whether it was still on the safe-to-eat list. And then, there they were, chicken legs and feet, proudly displayed, a true local delicacy that adds an extra layer of adventure to the market experience. The next stall looked harmless enough at first, just a spread of vegetables that had clearly wilted under the day's heat. But then our eyes drifted to the corner where two massive rats were laid out for sale. Yes, you're seeing that correctly, rats. It was one of those market moments that stops you in your tracks and reminds you just how far from home you really are. We wrapped up our wander through the market and began heading back toward the hotel, but not before stopping at a small roadside diner to check out what they were serving. A few dishes actually looked pretty tempting, though just like the market stalls, they came with their own cloud of buzzing flies, adding to the authentic atmosphere. Then we saw a tray of roasted silkworm pupae glistening under the lights, an earthy, protein-packed snack that's as traditional as it is adventurous for the locals. We stayed overnight at the BKC Villa. Tomorrow, our adventure continues as we follow the Mekong deeper into Laos, making our way toward the vibrant riverside town of Vang Vieng.